He's probably the greatest smelling country artist out there.
Well, we haven't smelled him yet, but we'll get back to you. But he's probably the best smelling person we've interviewed.
I think just from the interview, I can confidently say he's one of the best smelling artists on the market as of today.
I'm just waiting for like when he is at Joe's and it's like, hey Jacob, like shake his hand.
Just like a good deep whiff, just like
his manager's probably like, get these guys fuck away from me.
He's like, hey Jacob, are you okay? Like, did those guys just smell you? And he's like, yeah, we had a long talk about it.
Yeah. Anyways, shout out to Jacob Bryant for his time. It was great talking to him, and we're looking forward to seeing him perform and possibly smell.
And definitely getting a bottle of that cologne at his concert. So.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, everybody, enjoy the episode.
What is up, humans? On today's episode of Windy City Joe's, we had a one-of-a-kind, very special guest. His name is Jacob Bryant, and on May 23rd, his song Amen is coming to radio. He'll be at Joe's on Weed Street here in Chicago on May 20th. And this guy knows everything there is about fragrances, cologne, and like pretty much told me that I've been smelling bad my entire life. It was an amazing episode, and we hope y'all enjoy it. You're from Jasper, Georgia, if I got that right. I had to do a lot of digging on that because you say like a small town in Georgia, or other people may even get it wrong. But I'm kind of curious, in high school, I know like that's roughly when music piqued your interest, but how many kids like graduated in your high school?
Well, I couldn't tell you the exact number because I actually dropped out of Pickens County High School in 10th grade and went to a accredited Christian school so I could graduate at 16 and move to Nashville to start on music. So I actually only graduated with 7 people, but
7,
yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, my high school, if I had to guess, probably a couple hundred.
Okay. Because I mean, we've talked to a good amount of people now. And they're like, yeah, we're from a small town. And it's like, well, like define your small town. Because I think Colby Cooper's small town, the population was like 400. And then I think Jasper I have here is like 3,800. But the fact that you graduated with 7 people is definitely the lowest that we've ever talked to.
Well, I mean, even in this room, like you graduated with.
Like, I graduated with 67, so like it was a pretty small high school, and you graduated with like 10,000.
No, with 800, and like the whole high school had about like 5,000 people in it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Pickens High has gotten a lot bigger now. I went and saw one of my cousins play basketball the other day, and like they've added it. I mean, when I was there, I think it was like a AA school, and now it's like 5A or something. So it's definitely grown over the years since I was there.
Well, especially with like sports, like Texas high school football, like the stadiums are bigger than Soldier Field here in Chicago. Like it's unreal. Are you a huge like Georgia Bulldogs fan?
I never played football, so I don't get into football as much as I do baseball. I'm a huge Braves fan, but I mean, yeah, I do watch dogs and stuff. It just gives me a good excuse to sit on the back porch and fire up my grill and do that.
Yeah, I mean, they won it last year, so congrats on the Braves.
Yeah. The Braves are doing pretty good. I mean, we're not starting this year out as good as I'd hoped, but I think once.
But you guys got I think Acuna back, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
he's starting to heat up a little bit, and I think he's probably one of the best hitters in the game. So it'll take him a bit after spending a whole season out, but and then also with the lockout, the spring training stuff being a little shorter, I think it's kind of got everybody in a little bit of a funk. But yeah, that's my thing. Pretty much anytime the Braves are on, I'm glued to the TV or my phone or listening to it or something.
Yeah, for sure. So going back to you moving to Nashville, I heard, correct me if I'm wrong, that you only lived in Nashville for like 2 years, and then you decided to bounce. And like, what's interesting about that is, I mean, Nashville is like the heart and soul of country music or whatever. But the fact that you left, I feel like says a lot more about you as a person. Was it a decision where you're like, like this just isn't really kind of my vibe, or was it I can figure out how to make music and a career like outside of Nashville? Because a lot of people stay a lot longer for 2 years, and it's nothing wrong or anything, but I'm just curious as to why you felt like you wanted to go.
Well, I mean, it was kind of a little bit of the perfect storm of a bunch of different things. I mean, my mom had just passed away, and I was dealing with some severe addiction issues at the time. I mean, I was putting back 30, 35 beers a day plus liquor and cocaine and all kinds of stuff 7 days a week. And anyway, long story short, I just felt like I needed to step away from music altogether, really, for a little while after that 2-year period. But I mean, to answer your question, I mean, in hindsight, yeah, I mean, it was definitely not who I was to live in a big city like that. I mean, I grew up on a 3-mile dirt road in a single wide trailer that I could piss off my front porch in the middle of broad daylight, so I couldn't do the big full time. And plus I only live 3 hours away. So I drive up once and get work done and write and record and things like that. So it's not like I'm not present there. It's just, this wasn't my thing, man. And, came back to Georgia and kind of got my shit together, and now everything's good. I run my entire business out of Talking Rock, Georgia, is where Bus Call is, where all the guys get on the Prevost, and we hit the road from there. And we've managed to kind of build the thing from right here in Podunkville.
Was it during that time, or maybe even a time before, where you're like, I'm absolutely not a city boy, like I could not live in a big city?
It's not that I couldn't. I just feel like, you only get one life, and if you're unhappy somewhere, point, so I just I don't know, man. I just feel a lot more comfortable in the woods. And I mean, like where we live now, we moved up to LJ, Georgia, about 25 minutes north of Jasper, and bought a little 3-acre tract with a pond and a creek, and can't even see a house around us. So it's pretty cool. I could walk to the mailbox naked if I wanted to. So.
I mean, I think that's the dream everybody has.
Yeah. Well, and that's what we were just talking about, like listening to your lyrics and your music. It sounds like, you're the kind of person that's like, all right, this isn't it. Let's go. Like you just, it is what it is. You're like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This isn't working.
Yeah.
Like I don't have a filter.
No. And that's like, I mean, it's great. It's great. Like you're so authentically you, and like just raw and real in your lyrics. Like some artists like you, we've talked to a couple that remind me of you that are just out there with their lyrics, and they'll say anything, and it's almost like their way of venting and like getting shit off their chest through their music. Would you say like that's kind of how your music is? Yeah,
I mean, I'm kind of sort of tried to keep it semi-tame just because I'm a dad now and whatever, and I don't want my kids. I mean, I love my buddy Co Wetzel, but I definitely wouldn't want my daughter to be like, yeah, that's my dad, like do F-bomb every other word or something. But no, I mean, I cuss like a sailor outside of my music, but it was just one of those things. I want to leave behind a legacy that anybody from the age of 8 all the way up to the age of 70 could listen to, and there's ways of saying what you're meaning to say, metaphorically without necessarily getting all vulgar with it. So,
I know obviously, about your mom's passing when you were younger, and I'm bringing that up because I was listening to an interview and you mentioned then how that kind of showed you like, I'm not going to have a plan B, like I'm going to do music. A, why don't you think more people have that mentality? And then B, I would say you're pretty happy with your decision on just focusing on music?
Yeah, I would say a lot of the reason people fail is because they don't have that mentality. I mean, if you give yourself a plan B, you're already going to fail. I mean, because we're just wired to take the easy road. I mean, it's much easier to do, the easy way and take that, route. But I don't know. It's one of them things, man. I just wasn't scared to climb the ladder. I wasn't scared to push the boulder up the mountain because I know eventually that some bitch is going to roll off the other side and it'll do its own thing. But yeah, I'm definitely happy with it. I mean, God's been good to me, and especially after me being a freaking hellion for as many years as I was. But yeah, I've been able to do music full time and have my motorcycles and a nice place and 2 kids that I take care of and a wife that I can take care of financially. And it, yeah, for sure. I mean, I couldn't make the money I make building houses like I was. So I think I made the right choice.
I mean, I would say for sure.
What kind of motorcycles you got?
I got a 2021 Street Glide Special that I bought in Sturgis. That was kind of funny how that happened. I went into Black Harley Davidson after a show up in Sturgis to buy my dad and myself a T-shirt and walked out with a freaking $32,000. Having to unload the entire trailer behind the bus with all the gear, turn the bike sideways in the front of the trailer, get load bars, and then push all the gear back in and haul it back home. I got that one. And my first bike that I still have that I'm putting up for my son to give him is a 06 Dyna Wide Glide.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Nice one.
Two for right now. I had three at one time. I sold it. I had a Heritage Softail Classic that was my grandpa's, but got in a bind and had to sell it a little while back.
So did you even end up buying the T-shirts?
Yeah, I got T-shirts, a couple road signs, and a bike.
Okay, so I got you. So did you just walk in and you saw the bike and you were like, "Yeah, that's coming home with me," or just?
I've been looking for this specific color forever, and they only made a limited amount of them. It's called River Rock Denim, and it's like at night it looks like matte black, but in the daytime it's almost like the darkest hunter green you could ever think of, but matte with almost like gold flake in it. So it'd be like almost like that color, the darker green, but it's like so matte looking that I don't know, it'll kind of fool you. You'll think it's matte black till you get right up on it in the sun, and then you kind of see that it's like super dark green with gold flake in it.
That's dope.
What's the longest road trip you've gone on your bike?
Oh, man, I'm a bar hopper. I don't go too far on it.
Okay.
But I went 105 days sober and then fell off the wagon. I'm actually working on getting back on the wagon for a little while now. But normally I'll just kind of bounce around the 2 or 3 little counties here. We'll hit a bar and have a beer, and then hit another bar and have another beer, and kind of bounce around like that and goof off for the day and just kind of cruise. I'm not really a long trip kind of guy on them. If it was me and I was going like Daytona Beach or something, I'd allot a couple days where I could just drive one day and chill and drive the next day. But
I mean that bar hopping though with the bike and just one beer, next spot. That sounds cool. That sounds amazing. Especially because I imagine too, they're all divey as hell bars, hole in the wall spots too, where you just meet amazing characters.
Oh yeah, we got some funny ones up here.
I couldn't imagine. You haven't had caffeine in 13 years?
Since 2009.
That's I know you had your battles with addiction and all that, but 99% of Americans are addicted to caffeine, and you're not one of them.
Well, I medically had to stop because I had a heart attack from too many Red Bulls. I was working a night shift job, busting 80-pound bags of ice to put in these concrete trucks to keep the concrete from drying before it got to the jobs. And we would do that at nighttime. That way when the drivers come in, the trucks already had the ice in there with the concrete or whatever, and they could make it to the job site without the concrete hardening up. And I was sitting there busting them and started getting tired. So I started pounding Red Bulls, and I drank 6 Red Bulls and a Venom in about 2 hour span, and ended up having a chemically induced heart attack. So the doctor was like, "You got a little bit of scarring on your heart, no moss. You're lucky you didn't die," So
yeah.
It was weird though. Back when I was addicted to cocaine and stuff, I could do a line of cocaine that long and my heart wouldn't even race, but I can drink a Coca-Cola and it's like,
oh my God. That says so much about, Coca-Cola and Red Bull. Well, can you tell my co-host here to quit the Red Bulls? Because he needs to.
I haven't touched a Red Bull in 2 months.
Okay.
I mean, if it's like 1 or 2 or something, that's one thing, but definitely don't do 7 energy drinks in 2 hours.
Nah, if anything, I do 1 a week, but
yeah. No, I mean, I think anything in moderation is fine. I mean, you can eat too many Big Macs and die of a heart attack just as good as you can with Red Bull. So,
I mean, that's good. So when you wake up in the morning, what do you drink?
Water. Just
God, I wish I had your diet. I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
Right.
I got a cup of coffee sitting right next to me. I can't, it's just morning routine. Honestly, I woke up fine. I didn't even need it. I just was like, that's what I do. I go and I get coffee, and then I sit down and I talk to people.
Yeah, I wish sometimes I had it because I kind of drag ass every now and then, but it take me an hour or 2 to get going, get a biscuit in me, and then I'm off to the races.
I feel like I get a biscuit in me and I'm off to a nap.
Yeah.
I heard that. Like
that. You also have something that's pretty cool and distinctly, like I haven't seen any other artists have this in their store. You sell beard oil, beard balm, and cologne. Whose idea was that? And like, how long, I guess, has that been in the works?
It kind of came about because I'm what they call a frag head. Like I have over 150 bottles of different colognes and stuff. Like I collect.
Okay.
But so anyway, I've always used beard oil, and I've met this guy named Ron that owns the Bearded Pup, and he's up in Ohio, and I really liked his products, and I was like, well, dude, why don't we do my own fragrance, and then whatever fragrance we come up with for the cologne, we make a beard oil, beard balm, and at one time we had a pomade, a shampoo, conditioner, like everything, but we kind of noticed what was selling and what wasn't, and X-nayed most of it, and just kept the balm and oil and cologne, but anyway, there's a specific fragrance called Creed Aventus. It's about a $500 bottle of cologne that I wanted to like take and tweak the DNA of a little bit because I really liked the way it smelled, but I wanted to make it my own in a way. So we took a couple different fragrance oils and added it to that DNA and came up with the Southern Outlaw, which was my first one. And we like sold out of the cologne immediately. And then the beard oil and beard balm started moving. So then I came up with the second one, which is a little bit more of like it's exactly why I named it Crowd Pleaser. It's like I would call it like a basic bitch scent where it's best shower gel and nothing unique about it. But kind of like where you see everybody wearing Aqua de Joe still, you know, but like every dude you walk by everywhere is wearing either that or Dior Sauvage or Bleu de Chanel, you know. So like it's in that vein. And then the Creed Aventus is something where you walk by and you kind of like, what the hell was that? It smells really good, but I don't know what the hell it is, you know. So, but yeah, that's kind of how it came about, and we partnered up, and he's been making our products for a while. And then just recently, I actually partnered up with another guy that used to work for a company called Dua Fragrances, and he took that company from nothing to a $7 million fragrance business, 5 years, and he's going to take over 35% of my JB Signature brand and kind of move us further out of just Jacob Bryant and more into like putting this stuff in Trader Joe's, Duluth Trading Company, Tractor Supply. You know, just amp it up a bit, update the packaging. Also, probably get some better fragrance oils from different houses and things like that, and kind of just keep moving with it. I'm a little bit of an entrepreneur. I like to make sure that I have my finger in a bunch of different crap.
No, I love when artists that we talk to are just like branching out into other aspects of, I guess, like entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. Which one do you use for stage? Do you have like a specific set of cologne when you get on stage?
A lot of times I'll wear that Southern Outlaw just because I'm selling it at the merch table. So
yeah, I mean, it would look bad probably if you didn't.
Like, dude, what is that? Man, I'm like, right over there, go buy it, you know. But no, normally, like my go-to, which I don't ever wear the same fragrance 2 days in a row ever. Like I have so many of them, I get bored, so I just kind of swap them out here and there. But like today, I was a little bit bored, and I wore this thing called Parfums de Marly Greenly, which is probably something nobody's ever heard of. It's another like kind of high-end niche fragrance, like 400-ish a bottle. But I got hooked up in these communities, in these fragrance groups where I can like get these things like half of retail. So if I don't like it, I can turn around and sell it on eBay for more than I bought it.
Okay. So you're clearly like, you know everything, you know a lot about fragrance, probably everything. Can you, like, have I been putting on cologne wrong my entire life? You spray it on the wrists, rub it. Oh, I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. Okay, tell me, like, how do you put on cologne?
You don't ever rub it because it kills the molecules and it won't last but like 30 minutes and it'll be gone. So like, if you've ever noticed you spray it and you're like, damn, I can't smell it. And then you got to reapply kind of thing. That's why. But no, like I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the clothes, because on the clothes it'll last a lot longer. But sometimes I'll hit the top of my hand and then maybe my wrist too. Like I'm an oversprayer though. Something like, it depends on the fragrance. Like if it's kind of a weaker fragrance, I'll spray up to 18, 20 times.
Wow. I think I just found like,
I'm the dude that walks through the room and the meme where the guy's got the flames coming off of him.
yeah.
That's kind of how my fragrance does when I walk in the room.
What else? Like, what else outside of music are you like super passionate about?
Golf. I golf a lot.
Really?
Yeah, golf, bass fishing, mainly golf. Spend a lot of money on golf.
If you could get a private lesson from anybody out there today, who would it be?
Probably Dustin Johnson.
Oh, okay.
Old DJ.
Is he a Georgia guy?
I don't think so. I just think he'd be a cool dude to drink some beers with and slap white ball around.
How many beers do you think is a solid amount for an 18-hole day?
Back when I was drinking good, a 30-pack was easy.
Oh my God.
But no, I mean, nowadays, like I said, I'm fixing to go back on the wagon, but I don't know, about a 12-pack or something like that.
Have you ever had a hole in one? Never
had a hole in one, never had an eagle, but I've had a lot of birdies, or a lot of double bogeys. But I mean, the best round I got was an 81. I'm not like some crazy good golfer, but I've also gotten decent enough to take a little bit of my friend's money. The worst thing to me is when I had to pay Chipper Jones money. I got to play golf with Chipper and his dad, and he's worth millions, and I'm just little old me. We played a round of Wolf with him and our buddy Adam Blank, and at the end of the round, I owed Chipper Jones money.
Oh my God! I mean, what a cool story, though. I'm sure that was an amazing moment.
We ended up giving him a pack of quarters. It was
Love it. Do you all right, so in your life, do you think you've sprayed more cologne or lost more golf balls?
Definitely sprayed more cologne.
Okay, what about beers drinking
total?
I'll say age 21 and after. Compare
it up to transferred trucks.
Say it again.
It would fill up 2 semi trucks.
Jesus. Okay. All right. So you are a pretty good golfer, because if you ask me that question, I mean, I haven't seriously been golfing. I go on the course and just do what I can and literally try not to run out of golf balls that day. Right. But yeah, like my lost golf ball to beer drank ratio is like, I lose 10 golf balls every day. It's a problem.
I'm probably neck and neck, but don't get me wrong. I've lost a lot of golf balls. I've lost a lot. But I've also drank a lot of beers. Like last night alone. Cinco de Drinko. So
yeah, I don't know. I might maybe on a bad day lose 3 balls around, something like that.
Damn.
I can just buy a sleeve, and normally I play 3/4 of the round with 1 ball, and then of course you're gonna lose at least one, But yeah, I mean, I've had bad days like that when I first started playing, where I'd go through a whole thing of Pro V1s and want to kill myself because it was like a $50 12 ball thing, and
yeah,
$4 a ball.
Yeah. What's your like? I'm genuinely curious about this. Like, what is your like golf attire? Because I can't see you in like a polo and khakis.
It's I actually do wear golf clothes. I mean, I always wear my regular red dirt hat just because they're big supporters of us and whatnot. But I mean, it's black on black on black normally. I mean, I either wear gray pants with a black shirt, or gray shirt with black pants and black shoes, like Alloway black with a digital camo on the back. It's got a little bit of I don't know, John Daly-ish vibes to it, where it's look like the black sheep out there. But
John Daly is the man. His kid is going to be. His kid's already awesome.
Yeah, I follow him on that. He's got a great.
All right, so I want to get talking to you about your music. Obviously, Amen is coming to radio May 23rd. Mm-hmm. Was that right? Sweet, go me. What does that song mean to you? And like, how pumped are you for it to be released to radio?
Man, I'm super excited. It wasn't even in the option of being the single to begin with. We were going to go with either Up From the Bottom or Heartbeat. And then we started kind of reaching for feelers from program directors across the country and whatnot. And Pam Newman and J.R. Hughes, who is my radio promo team, they did Hurricane for Luke Combs and a couple other things for Luke, and did all the promo for him early on. But they came back and was like, "Hey, what do you think about this? Because this is what we're getting." And I was like, "Well, I mean, if that's what we're hearing, let's try it," you know. And it was a song that I cut specifically because I've been through all the lyrics in it. I mean, I actually didn't write that, which is another reason why I kind of didn't want it to be the first single. I wanted to put out something that I wrote, but it was one of those things where it's talking about, you know, addiction and selling your soul to the music industry, and you know, leaving home and saying screw that and coming back, you know, and mama never turning off the lights, which my mom had passed, but the metaphor was still true. And it was, I don't know, man. It was just one of those I think people needed to hear. And it's also different than anything on the, at least country radio right now, because it's got that little bit of Southern rock twang to it. But I'm stoked about it. I hope radio, you know, gets behind it and actually gives it a chance. Cause like I said, it is way different than anything on the radio. But it's also, I think, commercial enough to where it rides that line a little bit like a Eric Church or, you know, Luke does or whatever. So we'll see, man. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm a fan of the song, and I think it's going to do amazing on radio because it's just uniquely you, and it is different than what's out there today. And it's awesome. I love it. I'm a fan. Hell yeah. Shaka bro. Shaka bro. All right. So you are currently on the Barstool Preacher Tour, and you're coming to Joe's on Weed Street here in Chicago on May 20th. A, what do you know about Joe's on Weed Street? And B, like, what do you have to say to the fans that are going to be there on May 20th?
It's one of my favorite venues to play ever. First time we ever played there, we were there with Cody Johnson, a buddy of mine. And this is before he got mega huge, you know, and came back and played a couple more shows there as well. But, I mean, if anybody's been to Chicago and they haven't been there, I would say you've got to go check out Joe's. I mean, it's, in my opinion, outside of the other Joe's at Rosemont, it's probably the best music venue in Chicago. So, yeah, I mean, and it's going to be a freaking hell-raising country rock show. So, it's if you're into a little bit of something different, not your mainstream country hip hop thing, come see us. Absolutely.
We are definitely looking forward to that. Is Cologne going to be on sale at site?
It will be.
Oh, I'm getting a bottle.
I'm going to get a bottle. I collect it. You know.
Yeah, you do.
I literally, like, you open up my closet and it's like just a giant shelf of Cologne.
Wish I was downstairs and I'd show you my little, I actually had my wife's uncle build me a huge shelf when you open my closet, because there's like 4 shelves about 18 inches deep and they're packed to the gill in every one of them.
Oh, that's the dream. That's my dream, at least. I don't know if it's anybody else's, but
yeah, we're freaking weird, bro. I mean, who else gets addicted to cologne? You know,
right? But I mean, like, there's some I've like got and I'll never wear again because I'm like, I sprayed it, you know, like enough, and I'm like, okay, you know, and then I'm like, I outgrow the smell, so now I just have them, and like, okay, now my buddies are in town, we're growing out. I'm like, oh yeah, grab some, like, grab whatever you want. Like,
got Gucci Pour Homme 2, let me know, because I'm looking for it, because it's discontinued and it's one of my favorite ones.
No, I don't have that one, so I will let you know if I find a bottle though.
It's going for like $700 on eBay right now, and it was like,
oh my god,
damn,
$80 when it was in Ulta or wherever.
Yeah.
What was the name of the Gucci
Pour Homme 2?
All right, I don't know if they have that at TJ Maxx. But I'll look, because that's usually where I go for my cologne. All right, last cologne question. How many do you bring on the road? Like, if you're going on tour, do you really have to look at your selection and be like, all right, like, who's my favorite this time?
I pick based upon the weather too. Like, if I was headed up north and it was going to be cold, I wear warmer, spicier stuff. Or if I'm headed to Florida, of course, it'd be fresher, cleaner, like citrusy type stuff. But like, we did Fort Myers and Texas and a couple like in a row, and they were all kind of warm. So I grabbed like Versace Mano Fresh. Trying to think of another one I brought on that one. Bleu de Chanel Parfum. They came out with a new Aqua de Joe EDP, which is like a reformulated, stronger version of the original. but yeah, I mean, it really depends on the weather and how many shows I got or whatever. But I don't know. Sometimes it could be 8 or 10, or sometimes it'd be 2 or 3.
Oh my God. Okay. So like, all right, now maybe it's the last Cologne question. What is, it's like, this is amazing. Well, I also learned that I've been putting on Cologne wrong, and that probably explains my love life. Anyways, what's like the Michael Jordan of Cologne right now?
Like the top?
Yeah. Like who's everybody trying to beat?
I mean, the top seller probably right now is Dior Sauvage. But I mean, like I said, it's kind of like Aqua de Joe, where you're going to walk by 15 dudes and 8 out of the 15 are going to be wearing it. So like, I don't wear stuff like that a whole lot because I like to be different. But I don't know. I mean, between Creed Aventus, Dior Sauvage, and like Blue de Chanel, that's your top 3 and kind of like, you can't go wrong. Chicks are going to like it. Dudes are going to like it. Whatever. You know, that's your top 3.
Gotcha. Well, Jacob Bryant, it's been amazing talking to you. We are looking forward to seeing you at Joe's, and smelling you, not in the weird way.
All right.
But yeah, man, thank you so much for your time. He'll be at Joe's on Weed Street Friday, May 20th. You can get tickets at joesbar.com. And yeah, thanks again, man.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.